How many Ks was that?
Was that tick under 8k, 7.8. About 32 minutes.
My name's Oli Chignell. I'm a middle distance, long distance runner. Typically have run 5k, 10k, but sort of range anywhere from the mile up to half marathon at the moment. Been doing athletics since I was probably 6 years old. Started off when I was I was 5 years old when I first started playing football, and I really enjoyed the running side of it, all that stuff, and decided that I wanted to get into the running side a bit more. So joined my local athletics club when I was 6 and just never really looked back. It's an awesome sport. I love the individuality of it and not having to really rely on anyone else when you're in those sort of toughest moments. It's just all about what you've got on the tank and what you can produce at the end of the day.
When did you realise you're pretty good at the sport?
It all just sort of progresses as you get older. I think probably the first time was when I was 11 years old, and I was competing at a sort of South Island Championships for 7 to 11 year olds. I was in my final year of that and managed to win the 1500 and the 800 metres, which was pretty cool. I mean, I was only racing against 11 year olds, but it's still pretty intense competition, and I managed to smoke both races. So I think that's where I sort of had the first inkling that I was getting somewhere. So found my first coach and just started training even more consistently throughout high school and that kind of thing. And yeah, I've never really looked back. I've been consistently training now since I was about 11, 12 years old, and now we're nearly 15 years down the track and trying to qualify for World Champs and Olympic Games. I came pretty close to hitting a Commonwealth Games qualifier when I was competing in 2022, which was pretty close. I was 2 seconds away from the B qualifier for Com Games over 10k, which is a wee bit brutal, but I was aiming for the A and just sort of came up short on both. Ideally, this year I'll be able to run a time that will get me close to, if not under, qualifying times for Commonwealth Games next year, and then ultimate target is to get to the next Olympics in LA in 2028. The magic of athletics is that there's always World Championships every year, World Champs, you've got Com Games every 4 years, Olympics every 4 years, so there's always always a next goal, something to set your sights on. But yeah, looking 4 or 5 years in the future, I want to be at the Olympics, going to World Champs and just going over there and not just being there but also being able to compete. And I think the track side of things and being able to race instead of just run fast really plays a big part in that. So that's why I love the track.
And you've got a race coming up?
Yeah, I'm racing at the Adelaide Invitational in about 5 days' time, which is a 5k on the track, which will be awesome. It's absolutely stacked full of the best Australian talent. I think I'm the only Kiwi in there, but it's paced for I think 13:30, 13:20. My PB is 13:27 at the moment, which is from a few years ago, so it'll be really nice to beat that. It's going to be an awesome race. It'll hurt, but it's going to be awesome.
When do you head off for that?
So fly out on Wednesday. I get to have a couple of days in Adelaide. My coach and my training group is actually based in Adelaide, so first time there, it'll be nice to go and spend some time with them and see what the whole training environment is like over there. A bit of warm weather, and yeah, just use that time as a bit of tapering, nice relaxing, lots of sleep, lots of good food, and just get ready for the race on Saturday.
What does your typical training day look like?
To be honest, it all really depends. My big training days, which would say be on Tuesday, Fridays, I'd wake up probably at about 5 and head to the track or head to the industrial area in Dunedin and do a session that will usually be about 20 k's in total, warm up, warm down, and lots of solid work. And then I'll come back in the afternoon and have a bit of a jog as well, similar to what I'm doing here at Compound at the moment. Bit of a stretch after a run, and then usually a sauna as well. Yeah, my training days usually average out at about 20 k's worth of running a day, sometimes a bit more. Current workload is sitting at about 140 k's a week, which usually tapers off a wee bit on race day, race week. Yeah, so it's pretty full on, lots on. I think I run about 10 to 12 times a week, a couple of gym sessions, a couple of saunas, recovery stuff every day, so ends up being a bit full time.
And how do you like balance that with work?
Yeah, it can be difficult. I find during the week I really don't have a whole lot of time to sort of put my feet up and that kind of thing. It's sort of up at 5 and then training, straight to work, working full time at an insurance brokerage, and finish off there at 5. Usually, go and jog straight after, maybe home by 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then I've probably got 2 hours and then straight to bed because I can't be sleeping for 6 hours. I've got to get 8 or 9 in, so yeah, pretty full on.
What does the next 3 months look like competition wise?
So next 3 months is actually very hectic for me. We're right in the middle of our track season at the moment. So I raced in Melbourne, end of last year. That sort of kick-started my season. Also raced a week ago at National 3K Champs where I got 4th. So I've got Adelaide and then National Championships in Dunedin in 3 weeks following, which will be pretty full on. It'd be nice to get another national title there. I'll be racing that over the 5K, and then I'll be back over to Melbourne end of March as well, and then also setting my sights on getting overseas. So Europe, the US. I'm trying to get some fast racing in, and that's where my qualifying times will hopefully come from.
What other running events have you explored over the years?
Well, I've done a whole range really. I've run everything from 200 metre races all the way up to half marathons. I ran at Gold Coast Half Marathon middle of last year and came out of that with a pretty solid time. It's just over 63 minutes. I'd definitely like to be exploring those kind of events over the sort of next year or two as well. But yeah, I've done sort of the whole range, and I like to keep that whole range. I've done a mile, sub 4 minute mile before as well, and yeah, just anything on the track I love. I love running off-road and racing off-road as well, but I don't really get to do a whole lot of that. It's mainly just track and road racing, but I think possibly my greatest strength would be cross-country running. I just love it. I'm light. It's just about being, who's the strongest, who's the grittiest, and sort of who can get to the front and win the race just covered in the most mud. And it's just a wicked event.
How many Ks is
it's cross country? Usually 10 Ks. So all of our national championships are, if it's on road or cross country, is 10 Ks. So similar distance to what I'm running on the road, on the track, but usually takes us about 3 or 4 minutes longer, and it's brutal. Lots of up and down, lots of mud, lots of hills, and lots of getting the elbows out and getting feisty.
What keeps you motivated to keep racing?
I don't know if it's the love of winning or the fear of losing. Competition's always been something that's huge in my family. I've always been super competitive and always loved winning, just regardless of what the competition is, who I'm against. Winning's always sort of been number one for me, and with athletics, just like they say in Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. So, second's first loser. Maybe not the best motto to live by sometimes, but yeah, I just love winning and love the competition and love that side of the side of me that comes out when competition comes, because I just feel like I'm my best and just most elite self. I love it.
And if you could give any advice for someone starting in their journey?
Honestly, the biggest part of it all, the biggest part of anything is putting your feet on the floor. Get out of bed and put your feet on the floor. It's making that first step. It's once you make that commitment or make that first step, that's the biggest achievement of it all. And it's all just about making little steps. People obviously see what I do and say, I'd never be able to do that, but you've got to start somewhere. I started somewhere. It just happened to be that I was 6 years old and I've obviously been really committed to the sport, but I love seeing people, whether it's running, whether it's the gym, biking, swimming, anything like that, just people getting out, being active and just trying to be the best version of themselves, and that's something that I'll always preach for. So yeah, it's making that just internal commitment to yourself and to do something that you just want to set your mind to and just go for it.